Hey you guys, how are you? We are going to work through a yoga flow today. Feel free to grab your mat, set it up in a nice comfortable place at home, and meet us on the mat when you're ready. We are going to meet in just a cross-legged pose. If you like to have a block or a prop underneath the sit bones, feel free to take that option so that the knees can really melt down towards the floor a little more. For anyone who hasn't met me before, my name's Jess, and I teach the Saturday morning yoga strength normally. So feel free to meet us whenever you're ready. Taking the cross-legged position that suits you, and try to find a position where the body really isn't nagging you too much. So something where you can really soften and you can settle into your breath. Allow your hands to just land on the legs, whether the palms are facing up or down. And as you close your eyes, try not to overthink the breath for these first few rounds. Just begin to monitor it. Take a moment to observe the energy that is surrounding your heart space. Anything that is existing within the chest, within the belly. Are you scrunching up in your eyes? Are you squeezing through the outer edges of your eyes? Can you really soften all of that back? Ironing out the creases in between your eyebrows. And allowing the bottom jaw to slacken a little. Always utilizing these first few moments on your mat to bring the light of consciousness to the subconscious tension that we hold in the body. So whether that is contractions in the muscles of your face, or holding the shoulders up really high towards the ears, let everything soften down, let it go for a moment. Begin to spike down into your sit bones and notice what happens in the spine. Keeping the jaw nice and soft, begin to participate in your breath a little more. Allowing the inhalation to pour down towards the lower belly, the outer ribs, and the chest. Exhale from the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Inhale. And exhale. Allowing everything to slow down. Inhale. And exhale. Noticing where the breath travels in the body. Inhale. And exhale. Continuing just like this, allowing any of that external energy that was occurring around your mat or before you landed on your mat to really melt away. We reset at 0, at center. And then gently draw your hands in front of your heart space, connect your thumb and your pinky finger together, spreading through the other 3 fingers on your hands and creating a lotus mudra in front of your heart. Begin to create a little bit of energy between the thumbs and the pinky finger. Continue to spike down into your sit bones, lifting your heart. as if you're trying to press the energy of your heart in towards your lotus. And taking a movement meditation, let's carry that energy outwards. As you inhale, send your lotus high. Offer your love and acceptance towards the universe. And as you exhale, bring the lotus down through your heart, bringing the love of the universe back in. Now this time, inhale, open your hands wide. Send your hands out to their corresponding sides. Exhale, draw them back in towards the center. And then inhale, offer your love towards the sky. Exhale, bringing the energy of the source down back into your body. As you inhale, open your lotus, open your heart, send love towards the community around you. Exhale, bring it back in towards center. Allow that love to come back in a forever cycle. Inhale, last one, offer it high. Exhale, bring it in. Allow the universe to give you whatever you need. Inhale, offer out whatever your community needs, without scarcity, without fear. Slowly draw it back in. Exhale. Place your palms over your heart, one hand stacked on top of the other. Check in with what you need. Are you able to give yourself what you need? And then slowly begin to let go of your hands, open into your eyes softly, and meet us in a tabletop position. Some of you might like to roll over your knees. Maybe you like to send your legs off to one side. Taking your time. Bringing your knees hip distance apart, which is about 2 fists apart. So just be mindful if you really take your knees too wide a lot of the time. Bring your wrists underneath your shoulders, spread into your fingers, and let's take a thread the needle pose. Inhale, take your right arm high. Exhale, thread it underneath towards the left side, palm facing up. We're gonna flow, so don't sink. Inhale, take it high. Spiraling into the shoulders and heart. Exhale, take it under. Inhale, take it high. A little deeper. Exhale, take it underneath. Sink all the way down. Land on your right shoulder and your right temple. Bring your left hand over to the edge of your mat. Fingertips face forward, elbow points up. Welcome to soften here as you press into the left hand. Otherwise, welcome to bind. You can inhale, take the left arm high. Exhale, bring it around toward your back hip or your back thigh. Deep breath in, open the left elbow if you have took your bind. Beautiful. Inhale, take it high. Exhale, place the left hand on the ground. Inhale, fill the pose as you reach the right arm high. Find your depth. Exhale, take the hand on the ground. Reset your knees. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, take it underneath. Notice if you have one side that's a little more constricted than the other. Inhale, sweep it high. Breathe against any constriction that's there. Exhale, underneath. Inhale, take it high. Exhale, sink all the way down. Thread it as far through as you can and then melt to the shoulder, the temple, and then take your hand towards the edge of your mat. Elbow pointing up. Inhale, maybe you just press down through the palm. Maybe you bind as you inhale, right arm high. Exhale, take your hand down towards your hip or your thigh. And some of you might really enjoy looking up towards the sky to deepen the bind. I always like to kind of soften into my neck just because I really like that massage in the temple. And then inhale, right arm high. Exhale, take it to the ground. Inhale, fill the pose, open your left arm to the sky. Exhale, take it down to the mat. Cat-cow, inhale, tilt your tailbone up. Look your heart forward and gaze forward. Exhale, round as you tuck the pelvis. Bring the chin towards your chest and try to push your heart out through your shoulder blades. Inhale, open, smiley face through the spine. Really try to draw your heart forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Spread your ribs apart. Exhale, round. Exaggerate the movement. Let's take one more. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And try to bring a little bit of power and control into your tabletop. Sometimes we kind of dump into the pose a little bit. We let the shoulders sink up towards the ears and we kind of dump the lower belly down towards the floor. So begin to press the heart away from the mat and draw the lower belly in and up, creating a nice strong flat tabletop. Spread into your fingers and inhale, take the right leg long behind you, three-legged table. Take your time to reset in your three-legged table, still flattening into your lower back. Notice what is happening in your body. See if you can turn your back toes down towards the ground. Notice what happens in the hips. As you inhale, point the toes. Exhale, hug the knee towards your nose, baby tiger curls. Inhale, lengthen long. Exhale, squeeze it in. Keep gazing down at your mat. Inhale, look between your hands. The crown of the head moves forward. Exhale, squeeze in. This time, inhale, take it back. Exhale, take the foot all the way out to the right side. Point your toes forward, and I like to roll energy towards the outer edge of my foot, so it begins to bring this nice stretch up the outer side of the leg. And then set your heel up so it's kind of in line with your knee. And then when you're ready, walk your hands over towards the left side. Hand lines up with the knee, directly underneath the shoulder, and inhale, sweep your right arm over towards the side. Nice deep side stretch. Big line of energy from the right fingertips all the way down towards your right toes. And now begin to contract into the underside of your waist. Squeeze your belly in, and with control and slowly, inhale, come up through center, windmilling your arms. Notice where your body has to activate. Exhale, take the right hand to the right leg, sweep your left arm up. Enjoy it. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, take it all the way down, nice and slow. Use your muscles. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, over towards the side. Inhale through center. Exhale, land the left hand. And then inhale, come up through center. And as you exhale, take your hands to the ground in front of you, fingertips face forward. And then lean into your hands gently so that you're not sinking your hips back towards your heels. Welcome to stay. Welcome to melt down to the elbows. And remember that through our practice, when we say that you are welcome to take an option, it is not compulsory. And sometimes even if you know that you can in fact get there, sometimes that particular variation doesn't serve your practice in this moment. Sometimes I know I can come down to the elbows, but it just feels really good on the palms, so I stay. Honor yourself, honor your body. When you're ready, inhale, come back to the palms. And as you exhale, hug your right knee in towards your tricep. Squeeze into the hip. It's okay if it crunches. Mine's crunching and clicking too. And then inhale, take it long, three-legged table. Exhale, three-legged dog. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, and energize the foot skyward. Feel into your three-legged dog. Making your adjustments. You know your body. Plug down into all 10 fingers. Soften into your elbows. Draw your shoulders back and down and square off your hips a little. Inhale, point your toes. Exhale, bend the knee and roll open the hip. Inhale, lengthen the leg. Exhale, step the foot between your hands. So squeeze the knee toward your nose and then step the foot forward. If it doesn't get there, give it a little bit of help with your hands. Drop your back knee, untuck your back toes. Inhale, low lunge, sweep the arms high. Unpeel the belly from the thigh. And then as you exhale, see if you can tilt the pelvis under and lean forward. I promise it's a much nicer feeling through the back thigh. It's like a deeper stretch because we're not dumping into the joints. Once you're here, you're welcome to gaze up. Maybe the palms touch if it's okay for the shoulders. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, frame the front foot. Half splits. Inhale, rock the hips back. Lift your front toes and pull them back towards you. Welcome to stay on your fingertips. And to deepen and also protect your body through this pose, see if you can energize your front heel down into the mat and then begin to draw it back towards you. This is just an energetic sensation. You're not actually pulling the heel back towards you, but this kind of makes it feel as if you're plugging the leg back into the hip socket, and it actually deepens the sensation in the hamstrings. Perfect. We're gonna add a little juicy twist here. So when you're ready, ground down through your left palm, and then inhale, sweep your right arm towards the sky, rotating towards the leg. Keep peeling back through those right toes. Allow the sensations to migrate up the leg. Perfect. Inhale, gaze down. Exhale, hand comes down. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale to plank. Take your time to get there. It's okay if the knees are down, but see if you can bring a little bit of power into the plank as we hold. The pit of the belly draws in and up, and the palms energize down so the heart is levitating away from the floor. Inhale, rock your shoulders forward. Exhale, lower the knees, lower down to half push-up or chaturanga. Inhale, flatten your pelvis against the floor and peel the heart up. Gaze forward, not up. Exhale, come back to child's pose. Melt the forehead to the ground. Yogi's choice. You can take an energized child's pose with the elbows lifted and fingertips energized, or you can soften, letting the elbows land on the ground if you need a little bit of a rest. And then inhale, come back to tabletop. As you exhale, reset those knees, reset the hands if you need, fingertips are still spread wide. And notice, I have a tendency for my tailbone to kick up and the lower back kind of pulls in towards the floor. So again, suction that belly in, gaze down between your thumbs, press the heart away from the ground. Find stability for inhale, three-legged table. Perfect, holding here. See if you can press out through your heel without compromising the spine. There's a lot going on. Just when you feel like you can perfect something in yoga, a yoga teacher will always come and tell you there's more work that you can do. As you inhale, point the toes. Exhale, bring the knee towards your nose and round through your back, make room for the leg. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale back. Exhale in. This time inhale, take it all the way back. Exhale, take it out to the left side. Place the foot on the ground and the toes face forward. And again, just set the heel up in line roughly with your knee and press down through the outer edge of the foot so all four corners of your feet are landing on the ground. When you're ready, walk your hands over towards the right side. Right hand lands underneath the right shoulder. And then inhale, reach your left arm up, roll the shoulder back. Imagine that the shoulders are kind of stacking on top of one another. Gaze might be forward. You might like to tuck the chin and gaze up underneath your armpit. Whatever helps you just really enjoy this moment. Enjoy the passage of breath. Lower belly pulls in, activate your underside of the waist. Inhale, come up through center nice and slow. Notice the kind of craving to really quicken the movement. I always like to say slow down where you want to speed up. Take the left hand towards the left leg and reach the right hand over. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, slowly take the right hand down to the ground. Notice the muscles that are working. Inhale, come through center, nice and slow. Try not to throw into it. Exhale, take it down towards the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right side. Perfect, and then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, take your hands to the ground in front, fingertips face forward. Welcome to stay on your palms. See if you can move your hips forward, transferring weight a little bit more towards your hands or your fingertips. Exhale, welcome to melt to the elbows if it's in your practice today. And once you land, make little kind of micro movements through your pose, exploring the pose, exploring what the pose means. The body speaks to us in its own language, and it's a language of sensation. And so we can't really expect to understand the pose unless we make little internal movements that allow our inner intimacy to grow. And when you're ready, you can inhale, come back to the palms. As you exhale, hug that knee toward your tricep. Nice and active through the waist, through the hip. Keep pushing away from the floor. Inhale, take it back, three-legged. Exhale, three-legged dog, tuck your toes. Lift your knee, press your heart back toward your right knee. Making sure that your shoulders are drawing back. See if you can roll your left hip down. Keep them nice and square to the floor as you energize out through your heel. Inhale, point the toes. Exhale, bend the knee and roll open the hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring the knee towards your nose, step the foot forward. Drop the back knee and untuck the back toes. Inhale, low lunge, unpeel the belly from the thigh. That might mean that you're pushing the front heel down a little bit so that you can lift out of the hips, tuck the pelvis, and then just bend forward a little bit. Really engages a nice deep stretch through that right thigh. Allow your body to dictate how far you come. As you inhale, maybe the palms touch, maybe the gaze looks up. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Half splits. Inhale, rock the hips back. Peel the toes back. And again, find that protection and that intensification. Push the front heel down into the mat and then energize it back towards you. And so a lot of the cues that teachers will give you, the intention quite often is very similar, but it's just a different way of saying it. So some teachers, including myself, will sometimes say, pull the left hip back, right hip forward. But if you notice, by pushing your front heel down and pulling it back, that movement actually occurs as well. One more breath. As you exhale, ground down into your right palm. If you came all the way down into your fold, just come back so you have room to press down into the palm. Inhale, take your left arm high. Enjoy this moment. Keep drawing that left hip back. Exhale, take the hand down. Inhale, bend forward into the knee. Exhale, take it back to your plank. Knees can be up or down. If the knees are lifted, begin to drop a little more into the hips, but pull in through the lower belly. Front line of the body is kind of drawing up to meet the back line of the body. When you're ready, you can inhale, shift the shoulders forward. Exhale, lower the knees, come down to half push-up. Elbows hug in towards the ribs. Inhale, flatten the pelvis and peel the heart up. Exhale, child's pose. Forehead lands on the ground. Yogi's choice, energized child's with the elbows lifted, fingertips strong. Or you can melt down into full child's if you need a break. Notice the silkiness of your breath. And if there's something standing in the way of the breath being soft and gentle. See if you can identify that and work to move that out of your way. And when you're ready, you can inhale, come back towards to a tabletop. And as you exhale, meet us in downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, and press your heart back. Enjoy our first full downward facing dog of the practice. Feel into it. Maybe you pedal into the legs. Maybe you spread out through your sit bones and notice what happens to the lower back. But as you do this, hug the lower ribs in. This stops us kind of creating this inward arch of the spine. One more breath. And then press your left heel down. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee and roll open the hip. Inhale, lengthen the leg. Exhale, bring the knee towards your nose and step your foot between your hands. High lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms high. We're still on the back toes, so not dropping the heel down just yet. And again, same thing. Try not to lean too far forward or really dump into the pose. While we do this, and this looks amazing for photos, it's actually really hurting the joints. So see if you can come out a little bit, create a little bit more power and stability around your joints. Gather the inner thighs together. Let's take a little twist. Inhale, reach out of your fingertips. Exhale, prayer comes down through center and twist towards your front leg. Elbow lands on the knee, on the outside of the knee. Welcome to drop your back knee. Inhale, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, press into the elbow and rotate the heart towards the hands. Gaze can be down to the side, or maybe it shifts all the way up if you have that stability in your practice today. Breathe, one more. Inhale, gaze down. Exhale, frame the front foot. Drop the back foot on a 45, warrior two. Inhale, windmill the arms high, tracking the legs. And exhale, melt into the front leg and reset your pose if you need to. Remember that you're never set in stone in your practice. Sometimes we need to make adjustments so that it feels a little better or more available to the body. Silky breath, stay connected. Inhale, reverse. Exhale as you come back a little more. Inhale, warrior two. And then exhale, frame your front foot. Release your back heel and step your back foot in by a pace or two. You're going to take Trikonasana. Drop the back heel back on your 45, and this time we've just got a shorter stance. Lengthen into your front leg, and we're going to come into this just a little bit differently, just to kind of workshop the pose a little bit. So begin to draw your left hip forward. Notice what happens in your front leg. The knee begins to lengthen. And then take your right hand to your shin without leaning into it. So it's just kind of a placement of the hand. As you inhale, reach your left hand forward. Exhale, roll the shoulder open and shift your weight towards the back foot. The arm will go high. And now notice if you're still leaning on your front hand. See if you can maybe hover it off the leg. Take the hand inside the front shin and tuck your pelvis a little bit. One more breath. Perfect. And then inhale, take your top hand to the front. Roll your left hip forward, weight towards the front foot. Exhale, frame the front foot. Let's take a reverse just for fun. Take the left hand over towards the outside of your front foot. It can land on the foot or maybe in front of the foot if it doesn't get all the way there. And then begin to pull your left hip a little further forward. Just for the sake of getting into it, let's take the weight towards the front foot. And then inhale, take your right hand forward. Exhale, take it up towards the sky. And now notice that all your weight is still in the front foot. And while that makes it easy, it's kind of technically cheating. So see if you can begin to transfer weight towards the back foot and notice what happens in your hips. Your left hip is beginning to lift and your right hip is grounding down. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring your top hand forward. Exhale, take it down to the ground. Release your back heel and exhale, step it forward. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, flat spine. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Let's take two more. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Fingertips can be on the shins or floor. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Soften into your knees and inhale. Sweep the arms high, Urdhva Hastasana. Energize down into your heels. Exhale, bring the prayer down through center, Samastitihi. Take a moment to connect your thumbs to sternum. Maybe close down your eyes to calm the breath. Feel your heart beating behind your thumbs. All that energy that we brought in, all the energy that we offered out at the beginning of our practice. Notice that we can always give and we can always receive, because we have the power to cultivate and generate everything we need. There is no need for scarcity because we can physically create. As you inhale, send your prayer high. Offer your intention to the sky. And exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. As you inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, flat spine. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Plant into your hands, bend your knees, and step back to a plank. Welcome to take your full vinyasa, or welcome to repeat what we've been doing before. On the inhale, your shoulders float forward. As you exhale, lower chaturanga, knees can be up or down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra as we've been practicing. Exhale, downward facing dog, chin to chest, belly to spine, roll over your toes. Enjoy your down dog for a few breaths. One more. Press down through your right heel and inhale, left leg high. Feel into your pose. Try not to slacken through your upper body. When you're ready, you can inhale, exhale, bend the knee and roll open the hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring the knee to your nose and step the foot forward. High lunge. Inhale, float the arms high. Exhale, land into that power of the pose. Remember that we're not dumping into the joints. And for your own mental practice, can you maybe even come out a little bit from what you normally dump into or you normally can lean in? Can you challenge yourself mentally to come a little bit further back from that? How does your ego like or dislike that challenge? Take one more breath. See if you can tuck your pelvis a little bit. Inhale, prayer to center. Exhale, take it as you twist towards the front knee. Inhale, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, rotate towards your prayer. Your top elbow should point straight up, and you're still gathering those thighs in the center. Gaze might be to the side, or it might begin to shift up for one more breath. Inhale, gaze down. Exhale, frame the front foot and flatten your back foot to a 45. Heel to heel alignment. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reset your pose and find your stability. And in my warrior two, I always like to look forward over my middle finger. It's kind of like a hunter's gaze, and I can see my middle finger, but everything else around it blurs. Allow your shoulders to drop down. Pelvis tucks under. Inhale, reverse. Exhale to deepen. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, frame the front foot. Release your back heel, step your back foot forward a little. It might just be a pace or two. Playing with Trikonasana. See if you can even your hips out. So roll your right hip down, left hip back, similar to what we did in half splits. And then when you're ready, taking your left hand towards your shin, and just notice, I challenge you to notice how your body shifts and changes throughout this entire pose. As you inhale, take your right hand forward, feel what happens in the hips. Exhale, roll it open. Open your heart towards the sky, arm reaches towards the sky. Are you leaning on your front hand? See if you can hover it up. Energize into that underside of your waist. And now lengthen the crown of the head towards the top of your mat still. Tuck your tail still. Trikonasana, I find, is one of the biggest poses full of cues. We could cue it all day long. One more breath. Inhale, gaze down. Take your top hand towards the top of your mat. Exhale, windmill it down. Framing that front foot. Feel the hips re-equalize back to the mat. And then let's take a reverse, again, just for fun. When you're ready, you can take your hand, right hand to the foot, to the shin. Maybe it comes all the way to the outside of your front foot. And then again, just notice that most of your weight is actually in the front foot. And so as we progress and as this pose kind of deepens, we want to begin to find an equal amount of weight through both feet. So just challenge yourself here. As you inhale, take your left hand forward, feel all the weight transfer forward. And as you exhale, open it towards the sky, roll your heart to the left. Now press down through the outer edge of your back foot and see if you can rock a little bit of weight towards the back foot. I know it's hard, but that's okay, keep breathing. You might even have one side that's way more accessible than the other. I know I do, this is my hard side. It's okay if the wobbles are there. Inhale, gaze down. Exhale, top hand reaches forward and down. Perfect. Inhale, free your back heel. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow, enjoy the break, wash it off. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, flat spine. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Let's take a lazy Uttanasana here. So you can wrap your arms, bend your knees really dramatically, and then wrap your arms around the backs of your legs. I like to keep the knees bent as much as I can so that the belly squishes against my thighs, and then I tuck my chin towards my chest. And then from here, as you hold yourself in, maybe you begin to lift your hips a little higher. Squeeze yourself in nice and deep. Don't worry so much about the legs going long, worry more about the belly being on your thighs. Head is nice and heavy. I like to call this my yogi shot of coffee. All the energy flushing towards my brain. Gently release, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're gonna come up super slow via a halfway lift. So inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. As you exhale, begin to rise. Allow the inhale to fill the pose and reach the arms. Exhale, prayer comes down through center. Tail gently tucks, Samastitihi, connect thumbs to sternum. Arrive in your intention. But now, coming from a place of strength, you create this intention. You create this never-ending cycle of giving and receiving. And you notice and recognize the fact that you cannot have one without the other. You cannot give when you cannot receive. And you cannot adequately receive when you cannot give. As you inhale, offer your intention towards the sky. As you exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. As you inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, bend your knees, and step back to plank. As you exhale, find your own vinyasa where the knees are up or down. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Take 3 deep breaths. Notice what your intention feels like as it courses through the body, riding on your breath. Notice what is important to you. And then when you're ready, you can slowly lower the knees down to the mat. And just come back to a child's pose for a few breaths, monitoring the energy and the sensations that course through your body. And remember that sensations include mental fluctuations and emotional fluctuations. These are just sensations of the mind, no different to the sensations we feel through the muscles, the nerves. As you inhale, walk the hands back towards your body. And then begin to transfer your your hips towards the right. And then taking a deer pose, take your right shin parallel to the front of your mat and bring your left knee just to touch the heel. If you feel like you have a little bit more availability in the hips, you can open that back leg out to a right angle as well. So the front shin is parallel to the front of the mat, and flex gently into your foot to protect your ankle. And then when you look to your back leg, the knee lines up with your hip and the ankle lines up with the knee. And then take an inhale, just lift your heart space up. And as you exhale, walk your hands to the right side. Point the fingertips away from you and press down into the palms. We're gonna stay on the palms for a second. A lot of the time we like to sink down to the elbows here. But I actually find that this is a really intense twist. Staying on the palms, but see if you can press deeply into the right hand and see if you can try and draw your heart over to face your right hand a little bit. Nice and strong twist through the middle spine. Keep the breath long and slow. One more. Now welcome to melt to the elbows if you like. Notice the sensations that change. And if you land on the elbows, see if you can try and create the intention of keeping your shoulders parallel to the floor. So it creates this unequal pressure through the elbows. It means you have to push a little more through the right side, but that's okay. Pull the lower belly in, notice what happens. One more breath. And then inhale, come back to the hands. And as you exhale, walk them around towards the front. Roll your left hip down to the ground and just slowly rotate towards the other side, but keep the spine really long, so don't hunch. You can come as deep as you like, let it be as free flowing as you like. Perfect, and then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, switching sides. So taking the left shin to the front of the mat and touching your right knee to the heel. So you have a nice little triangle shape in between your legs, or you can open it all the way out into your full deer pose, making sure that your feet are very gently flexed just to protect your ankles here. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. As you exhale, walk the hands to the left side, remaining on the palms for a few breaths. Press a little bit deeper into the left hand or the back hand. Imagine that you're trying to draw your heart towards that back hand. Notice if you're kind of pouring the pelvis forward. See if you can draw it back towards the tailbone a little bit. Welcome to melt to the elbows if that's where you want to go. Notice what changes. Keeping the shoulders level to the ground. Soften into the belly. Take one more breath. And then inhale, come back to the hands. And exhale, walk them forward. And just begin to walk towards the opposite side. You can hold onto the legs or you can hold onto the floor. See if you can lift your heart up so that you're not slouching. And then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, bring the knees together, feet together. And then just take your hands behind you, fingertips facing forward. Press down through the heels of your hands and hug your shoulder blades back. So you're trying to touch your shoulder blades together. And then as you inhale, press down through the feet and lift your heart up, gazing up. As you exhale, hug the heart in towards your shoulder blades. Wrap your shoulders around your heart and bring your chin towards your chest. Seated cat-cow. Inhale, lifting up, hug the shoulder blades back. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale, open. Exhale, round. And then inhale, come back to neutral. Bring the soles of the feet together and drop the knees open wide, little forward fold, Baddha Konasana. Interlace your fingers around your toes. As you inhale, lift your heart up and gaze forward. And then exhale, bend into your elbows, draw your heart down towards your feet. There's a couple of different options here. Some yogis like to keep their elbows in, activating deep into their biceps to pull down. I actually like to take my elbows to the outsides of my shins, and then this becomes a co-contraction between my biceps drawing down and also my shoulder blades pulling back. And this gives you a little bit more space for the belly and the heart to come down. Keep extending the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Breathe space into your lower back, mid back, upper back. One more breath. And then inhale, slowly rise. And exhale, bring the knees together. Send the legs out long to the mat. And nice and controlled, last moment of activity here. We're going to come down onto the mat. So I like to reach my arms out in front and draw the belly, like roll it in towards the spine. So you're kind of creating a steamroller with your spine. And then as you exhale, slowly come down one vertebrae at a time. And where you want to speed up, slow down. So when you get to that point where your body wants to fall, squeeze. You got this, one more. Once you land, inhale, sweep the arms back behind you, point the toes. Exhale, hug the knees. Take a little rock and roll. Anything that you enjoy, anything that helps you connect in. Happy baby pose, open the knees as if you're trying to hug them up towards your armpits. And then take your elbows inside your knees and the hands find the outer edges of the feet. If that's not available, you can hold onto the ankles and just keep the feet together. If you're coming in towards your happy baby, begin to transfer your ankles back so they stack on top of your knees. Lengthen your lower back. Feel how the tailbone extends towards the bottom of the mat. Maybe if you're comfy, you can take a little rock from side to side, massaging into the spine. Allow the third eye center to turn to liquid here. The world becomes a joyful place. And whenever you're ready, you can let the heels fall together. Let the knees fall together. Hold yourself nice and close. One deep breath. And then allow the feet to land on the ground. Take them down to the bottom edges of your mat. If there are any final movements that your body is craving, then welcome to take them now. Otherwise, open the heels to the bottom pockets of your mat and open through the toes. Let the arms open wide. Take up as much room as you like. The fingertips curl back gently towards the palms. The back of the head gives in to the ground deeply. The eyes sink back into their sockets. And the tongue softens inside the mouth. Allow the back of your ribs to melt into the mat. As do your hips and your heels. Allow the breath to return to a natural ebb and flow. A beautiful swell in the ocean that rises and falls. And your consciousness is a little boat floating untethered on the surface. Are there any areas of your body that you can release a little deeper, including the personality that you wear on your face? And then begin to feel the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor. remaining completely still. Begin to visualize roots coming out of your body, curling and creating tendrils into the soil. With each exhale, these roots grow bigger, thicker, and stronger. Tying you deeply to the earth. Each turn and hook and curl of each root grips the earth even more. You completely give in to this weight. You allow it to soften you and soothe you, feeling supported and feeling at ease. Knowing you have all the nourishment that you need. And then on the inhalation of your choosing, begin to create very gentle movements through the fingertips and the toes. Notice the contrast of sensations between heavy and light, as you now welcome a little more movement into the limbs. Maybe you deepen your breath. Maybe you inhale, sweep the arms back behind you. And as you exhale, bend into the knees and roll towards your right side. Take your time to press yourself up, keeping your eyes closed the whole journey if you can. Arriving in a comfortable seat as you cross the legs in front of your body. Spike down into the sit bones and bring the prayer towards heart center. Connect the thumbs to your sternum and bow the head towards your hands in a prayer to your practice. In a moment of clarity, we thank the intention for choosing us as a vessel today, for embodying through us and birthing through us. We thank the practice for moving through the body, and we thank the body for receiving the practice. And I thank you so much for sharing your love and light and practice with me and the community that surrounds you. Namaste.